Welcome back to Peacock TV Spoilers, your absolute favorite community for deep dives into the wild world of Salem. We have a massive breakdown for the Tuesday, May 26 episode, and the emotional stakes have never been higher. Grab your coffee, because we are diving deep into the madness. Peacock TV Spoilers. We have been tracking this heartbreaking storyline for weeks. And Tuesday, May 26, is the day of reckoning for Chanel Dupree DiMera. Chanel Dupree DiMera hopes for the best, but prepares for the absolute worst, as Chanel Dupree DiMera finally gets the results of the breast biopsy. Chanel Dupree DiMera will find out whether Chanel Dupree DiMera has cancer. The stakes are astronomically high, because Chanel Dupree DiMera is pregnant. How will this devastating diagnosis affect the pregnancy of Chanel Dupree DiMera? I personally believe this is one of the most emotionally exhausting plots Days of Our Lives has executed in years. The psychological toll on Chanel Dupree DiMera is unimaginable. Chanel Dupree DiMera is sitting in that sterile hospital room, staring at the walls, terrified that Chanel Dupree DiMera might not live to see the baby of Chanel Dupree DiMera grow up. Chanel Dupree DiMera has already faced so much trauma, and adding a potential cancer battle on top of a high-risk pregnancy is absolutely gut-wrenching. Johnny DiMera has promised to be by the side of Chanel Dupree DiMera no matter what happens. Johnny DiMera loves Chanel Dupree DiMera deeply, and Johnny DiMera desperately wants to be the perfect husband during this medical crisis. But let's be real for a second. Johnny DiMera is a DiMera, and DiMera family obligations always ruin everything. Before Johnny DiMera can fully support Chanel Dupree DiMera, Johnny DiMera has to talk to EJ DiMera. EJ DiMera is stressing about what is going to happen to the DiMera family company now that Tony DiMera has changed the corporate plans of Tony DiMera yet again. Tony DiMera is always plotting. Tony DiMera and Anna DiMera cannot seem to stay away from the corporate battlefield, even when Tony DiMera claims Tony DiMera wants peace. Because Tony DiMera is causing chaos, EJ DiMera is going to want to put Johnny DiMera on the business throne. This reminds me exactly of what Stefano DiMera did back in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Stefano DiMera would always use moments of extreme family vulnerability to manipulate the children of Stefano DiMera into taking corporate power. EJ DiMera is doing the exact same thing to Johnny DiMera. EJ DiMera knows Johnny DiMera is distracted by the medical crisis of Chanel Dupree DiMera. Here is my hot take for the comment section. EJ DiMera is actively exploiting the tragedy of Chanel Dupree DiMera to force Johnny DiMera into the CEO chair. EJ DiMera is ruthless, and I absolutely hate how EJ DiMera treats Johnny DiMera right now. EJ DiMera does not care about the health of Chanel Dupree DiMera. EJ DiMera only cares about defeating Tony DiMera. Tony DiMera is playing a dangerous game, but EJ DiMera is crossing a massive moral line by dragging Johnny DiMera away from the hospital bed of Chanel Dupree DiMera. Meanwhile, across town, Jennifer Horton faces another massive enemy. On Monday, Jack Devereaux talked to Jennifer Horton about forgiving Gwen Rischek and accepting Gwen Rischek into the family. Jack Devereaux always pushes Jennifer Horton to be the bigger person, even though Gwen Rischek has destroyed the lives of the Devereaux family multiple times. But on Tuesday, Jennifer Horton shifts focus and offers Cat Green a truce. Can you believe it? That is crazy. Cat Green impersonated Abigail Devereaux. Cat Green caused so much psychological damage to Chad DiMera. The audacity of Cat Green to even remain in Salem is baffling. Jennifer Horton offers Cat Green a truce over the whole Abigail Devereaux impersonation thing, but Jennifer Horton comes with major boundaries. Jennifer Horton does not want Cat Green anywhere near Thomas DiMera, Charlotte DiMera, or Chad DiMera. Jennifer Horton is acting like a fierce mama bear, protecting the legacy of Abigail Devereaux. I personally believe Jennifer Horton is making a massive mistake even speaking to Cat Green. This reminds me of when Kristen DiMera impersonated Susan Banks, or when Kristen DiMera wore the mask of Nicole Walker. Salem residents never learn. You cannot negotiate with identity thieves. Cat Green is incredibly dangerous, and Cat Green has a dark history tied to E.J. DiMera from the Italian rehabilitation facility. Predictive lore. Cat Green will violate these boundaries immediately because Cat Green is obsessed with the life of Abigail Devereaux, and Cat Green will try to seduce Chad DiMera again. Chad DiMera is vulnerable, and Cat Green knows exactly how to manipulate the grief of Chad DiMera. Jennifer Horton thinks Jennifer Horton can control Cat Green, but Jennifer Horton is playing with fire. Now, let us talk about a couple that drives me absolutely insane. Sarah Horton and Xander Kyriakis are living under the same roof now. Living together is good for Victoria Kyriakis. Victoria Kyriakis needs stability, and Victoria Kyriakis deserves to have both parents present. But living together gives Sarah Horton even more opportunities to remind Xander Kyriakis of how awful Xander Kyriakis is. Sarah Horton constantly tells Xander Kyriakis why Xander Kyriakis needs to change. Peacock TV, spoilers, I have to defend Xander Kyriakis here. I love Xander Kyriakis passionately. Xander Kyriakis has tried so hard to redeem the soul of Xander Kyriakis. Xander Kyriakis literally bends over backwards for Sarah Horton. But Sarah Horton is a massive hypocrite. Sarah Horton sits on a high horse and judges Xander Kyriakis all day long. This dynamic reminds me of how Victor Kyriakis used to treat Xander Kyriakis. Victor Kyriakis constantly told Xander Kyriakis that Xander Kyriakis was a failure. Now, Sarah Horton is adopting the exact same toxic behavior as Victor Kyriakis. Sarah Horton is emotionally destroying Xander Kyriakis. Thankfully, Xander Kyriakis has some constructive feedback for Sarah Horton as well, and I hope Xander Kyriakis absolutely destroys the ego of Sarah Horton. Sarah Horton needs a reality check. Sarah Horton forgets that Sarah Horton has made plenty of mistakes in the past. Xander Kyriakis deserves better than the constant nagging of Sarah Horton. If you ask me, this is a huge mistake, because Sarah Horton is going to push Xander Kyriakis right back into the deadly arms of Kristen DiMera. Finally, while Sarah Horton and Xander Kyriakis have the same old argument, Alex Kyriakis is getting to know baby daughter Kelsey Kyriakis. Alex Kyriakis and Kelsey Kyriakis spend some alone time. Alex Kyriakis is proving that Alex Kyriakis can be a wonderful father. Alex Kyriakis feels a deep connection to Kelsey Kyriakis. But then Joy Wesley shows up to take Kelsey Kyriakis home. Joy Wesley decides Joy Wesley has time to spend with Alex Kyriakis. Alex Kyriakis, Joy Wesley, and Kelsey Kyriakis look like a real family. Amazing. Stephanie Johnson is going to lose the mind of Stephanie Johnson over this. Stephanie Johnson recently made a brutal confession to Alex Kyriakis about not wanting kids right now because of the kidnapping trauma Stephanie Johnson endured. Stephanie Johnson is fragile, and Stephanie Johnson cannot handle the presence of Joy Wesley. Predictive lore. Joy Wesley will use Kelsey Kyriakis to steal Alex Kyriakis away from Stephanie Johnson permanently. Joy Wesley sees the vulnerability in the marriage of Alex Kyriakis, and Joy Wesley will exploit that vulnerability. Joy Wesley knows exactly what Joy Wesley is doing, and Joy Wesley is planting seeds to become the new leading lady in the life of Alex Kyriakis. Stephanie Johnson is going to be left completely heartbroken, and Alex Kyriakis will be too distracted by Kelsey Kyriakis to even notice the pain of Stephanie Johnson. So, what do you think? Will E.J. DiMera successfully manipulate Johnny DiMera into taking the CEO chair? Or will Johnny DiMera choose the health of Chanel Dupree DiMera over the DiMera Company? Drop your thoughts below. Make sure to subscribe to Peacock TV Spoilers for more daily updates.